Hi guys, it's Mike at Phase 1 DJ Store. How we doing? Right, I'm going to do a really cool video today. We have got Rob from Pioneer with us, who is going to take us through the DDJ S1. Right, MIDI controller, we know. I haven't done a demo on this one. I'm not Serato friendly, but Rob is going to convert me. Right, I'm not Serato friendly, so by the end of this video, I should know what I'm doing with it as well. What we're going to do is we're going to take it out in the warehouse, yeah?
Yeah, man.
Can't make any noise in here, they get a bit fussy. We're actually sat in the front of the shop. The shop's still open, so what we're going to do is we're going to take it through into the warehouse. We're going to hook it up, and Rob is going to teach me the way of the Serato. Oh yeah.
What's happening, guys? I'm Rob Anderson, the product training and demonstration specialist for Pioneer DJ. I'm back up here at Phase 1 in Darlington to talk you through our DDJ S1. So the S1 is our all-in-one MIDI controller device. It's been designed in conjunction with Serato, specifically for use with Serato's itch software, which you can see on the screen here. I'm going to give you a full walkthrough of the software in a moment, but first of all I'm going to focus on the unit itself, so show you exactly what it consists of and what it's making accessible to anyone who wants to DJ using this bit of kit. So you can see straight away from looking at the unit, it looks like a set of CDJs. So you've basically got a twin CDJ setup and a 2-channel mixer in the middle. It looks very similar to CDJ 400s and a DJM 400, except it's all connected. So all in one unit, easy to transport, less flight cases, less trips to your motor. Ins and outs of the unit. So we'll go through the CDJ features and the mixer features in a moment. First of all, go through the ins and outs. So, as you'd expect, it's controlling a digital vinyl system. So, software on your computer where all your music's going to be stored. It's controlling it and accessing it in a way in true DJ style. It's going to be connected to your computer via USB. So, one USB cable plugging straight into your laptop. 2 cables going on from the XLR outputs on this unit straight to our speaker system, and we've also got RCA out if you choose to connect to, say, a hi-fi system or any other RCA connection. We've also got RCA in, so an auxiliary input. Now this is a very nice feature. It allows direct through, so we can basically take the laptop out of the equation, and provided our power cable is plugged in on this unit, we can still provide audio to our sound system. We've also got 2 mic inputs. So a combi jack, allowing XLR and 1/4-inch mic input on the top, and a mic input at the front as well, which is the combi auxiliary switch. Okay, so let's get into the features that have been made accessible and explain the ins and outs of the unit itself. So all navigation of your software is done up at the top section of the unit. So once you've connected your laptop, you've turned your software on, the laptop docks underneath the cutout at the back of the S1, and you then don't have to touch your keyboard or your mouse pad. Again, it's all done through here. So the rotary knob will scroll through your tracks, as you can see, and you can jump into playlists or crates in Serato fashion, which you can pre-design earlier or choose to go through your iTunes playlist like I'm doing now. You can also use the files button, which will bring up an explorer to explore your hard drive, or use the turn the browser on and off, or actually create a playlist or a prepare list prior to your gig. So prior to the wedding reception, prior to getting to the club, prior to the house party, you can go through all your crates and actually tag some tracks. So you scroll through, make a selection of tracks you want and click load prepare. This will then load that track into your prepare window for playing later on. So all navigation is done from this section here. As you guess, all playing is done from the CDJ section. So let's get some music going and look at some of the features that we've brought onto the CDJ part of the unit. So transport controls in the same area as you'd expect. Jog wheel, pitch, still in the same CDJ fashion. Now we've also got 5 hot cues up here, which is unusual to see. Normally we only have 3 hot cues, but due to the fact we're working with software, we can have an additional 2. So more creative options available there. As you can see, I can punch at any point of the track. So jump to any point of your track at any time. You can also use the technology that's been imported from the CDJ 2000, touch responsive needle search, to queue up any point of your track. Scroll to any point, find the precise points of which you want to set your cue points, and activate them from that point. We've also got the looping, so Pioneer's looping section up here. Now you can punch in loops on the fly like you would on any CDJ, so in, out. You can hear that slightly out though. To take advantage of the quantized looping feature that DVS offer, so any software that you're using to play your music, you can use quantized looping. So let's scroll using the auto looper and set a 8-bar loop. Then depress, and there you go. You've got a highlighted green section which will repeat over and over again until you exit the loop using this button. Now, some wicked features that have been brought onto the S1 from existing CDJs are the reverse mode and the slip mode. So slip mode's a really cool performance tool. If I turn on slip mode, basically any adjustments I make to the CDJ, when I release them or unadjust them, it will jump back to the current point in the track. So for instance, if I hit a hot cue, once I release the hot cue, it jumps back to the current point of the track. So it's a wicked performance tool, allowing you some pretty cool creative options. You know, for any DJ who wants to really dazzle the crowd or do some complicated hot cueing action, the slip mode brings a whole area of creativity into play. And along with the reverse mode, can be put to really cool use. Okay, let's move on to the effects section. So the DJM style mixer that's sitting in between the twin CDJ setup, very easy to use. You've got 2 channels controlling deck A and B, and quite a nice fader. Quite a nice fader as well, which the complete cut control can be set in the software. So if you are a scratch DJ, you can set that to be super tight, allowing, you know, I'm not a scratch DJ, but you can actually scratch on this unit. Yeah, the effects section. So Serato offers 12 effects, 12 pretty user-friendly and effective effects. So let's set deck effects bank 1 to deck A. It can also be set to deck B, to the master, or to the mic. So I'm going to set that to deck A. Use the effects selector below it to choose, let's say, breaker. Now, there's an additional parameter setting below. Now you see this is adjusting the timing for the breaker. So I'm going to set it to 1/8. Turn the effect on. Maybe set it to a bit faster. So you're using them in the same way as you would on any DJM mixer. Level depth up, so let me try another one. Say a filter. The filters and the reverbs are also really nice on this unit. Turn the effect on, increase the level depth. And you've got 2 banks, so you can use them in conjunction with each other. Let's set the second one to a reverb. Use them both together, turn them both on. Now the reverb's post fader as well. So there you go, 2 very user-friendly style effects banks which can manipulate up to 12 effects. So pretty useful. Now, the software style, the reason it's so user-friendly, it's the perfect option for anyone who's a traditional DJ, maybe on vinyl, maybe on CDs, who wants to get onto a digital system. So you want to actually start DJing in a digital style. This is a very cool option because you get, you know, the professional Pioneer CDJ setup, Pioneer mixer setup, but the software isn't overly complicated. Also allows us to adjust all the tracks' beat grids on the fly. So whilst you're playing music on your software, you can also be going through and adjusting and correcting any beat grids that have been assigned to tracks slightly inaccurately. So this is a great feature for any DJ who's considering going on to the digital option, moving from traditional DJ style to using a MIDI controller and Serato. The thought of having to take your whole song library, so if you've got a library of 10,000 tracks, the thought of beat gridding all of them prior to use can be a very daunting, off-putting thought. So on this, say you're, for instance, a mobile DJ who's got a massive amount of tracks, you can import all your tracks to iTunes, and then if someone asks you for a track that you haven't played before, so Happy Birthday or a track that you haven't played for a long time, you can simply select it. So let me go for a random track, load it up into your deck, and if for some reason the analysis is slightly wrong and it needs human alteration, you can adjust the beat grid on the fly whilst the last track is playing. So let me show you how this is done. A beat grid, first of all, if you're choosing to sync tracks or loop tracks, then you need your beat grids to be assigned accurately throughout the track. And what it does, it basically creates a frame onto the track for which the loops will be designated and for which the sync mode snaps the tracks together. So it's actually snapping the beat grid of deck A and deck B together. So if the beat grids are off on the tracks, then the tracks aren't going to sync correctly. So let me take deck A, hit play. Now the white lines you can see displaying the numbers 2, 3, 4, that's our beat grid. So what we do, we use our shift function. So the looping section here also has some white writing underneath, which is an additional subsection of controls we can activate. Now we activate them by holding down the shift button. You can see the lights turn off, and we can now activate the set, tap, clear, lock and slide functions. So if I rotate the slide function, you can see the beat grid is actually moving around, and this needs to be bang on the transients of every track. So with that one, bang on track now. If I choose to throw in my other track, completely out of time, jarbled mess. If I press the sync button on the track that I'm bringing in, it snapped it to grid, although it's still slightly out of time. Now this can be amended by adjusting the beat grid. So I'm then going to slightly adjust the beat grid on my other track, hit sync, perfectly in time. So the fact you can do that on the fly just eliminates the whole daunting process of assigning and checking that every track's beat grid of your whole 10,000 track library is corresponding to the transients.
Back in the room, or I'm back in the room. That was Rob walking us through some of the features of the DDJ S1, the Serato controller. Right, I've got a couple of questions for you. Rob, it's like question time, mate. Sorry.
Sure thing.
Right then, I'll tell you what I like about this what I've seen of the program Serato Itch, because I've got to say I've been a big fan, but I can actually see from what you've been doing there the simplicity of it. It's very much, you know, it's laid out in a way that it's very simple. Other software out there I find can be a bit overcomplicated.
Yeah, it's a stripped back version of Serato. So the Itch software is very user friendly. You know, it's almost idiot proof. It makes things very easy to use.
Very colourful.
Yeah,
you can actually see it in a visual display.
Yeah.
So I'm liking that. Now also, I know you referred a couple of times in there that you know, it would be ideal for maybe the mobile jock as well as the mixing club jock. there's some features on here that would be very interesting to the mobile jock. Someone coming from, they've been playing CDs and they want to go onto the digital side of things. Easier piece of software to get to grips with, but very important to the mobile DJ, and I know this does this, and we're going to show this now, is that if it crashes, man, it's just the worst thing in the world. If it crashes, what happens? Computers crash, records scratched, and CDs jumped. It's just, they haven't made it completely flawless yet. So a lot of DJs that I'm talking to, because we do get a lot of mobile DJs, working DJs that are working every weekend, doing the parties and stuff like that, and they always go backup. I want some backup. Now with this unit, I believe we can do that. Rob has advised me and he's told me that there's a completely separate line in, so we can take an auxiliary line in, and I've got my phone here, and if we unplug that computer, it's still going to play. So you unplug the computer, Rob.
So yeah, you're playing your music, let's run some tunes. The worst thing that can ever happen happens, the laptop crashes and bosh. No sound.
It all goes off, but you could have something as easy as this.
There you go.
I mean, that's my phone I'm using now. Could be any MP3 player, another CD player.
Yeah.
It could be a CDJ, it could be anything.
It's RCA input, so you can literally run anything through there. And even with the USB disconnected from your laptop,
it's still going through. So this is not running through the computer. It's running completely separate through this unit.
Yeah.
One thing I've noticed, it's got a volume on there, right? It's got EQ, right? Also very important to the mobile DJ as well is the microphone. Now, with the computer not connected, we got a microphone, right?
Yes.
And the microphone. Mic is now on the mic, yeah? I know, I'm not good, right? 3-band EQ on the microphone. I know we're only going through these little monitors here, but I'm usually a bit fussy about microphones. I will speak on a microphone. You can't imagine me not speaking, can you, Rob? You know, I can talk for England, right?
So we got to turn you down a little bit.
We got 3-band EQ, right? So you're going to get a professional sound. And that works with it not being disconnected to there. So we don't have to connect it to there, the mic will work.
Completely independent. You've also got talk over as well. So if you switch the talk over on, you can...
It's going to duck the music down. Will it do that when it's hooked up to itch?
Yeah, 100%.
So if I want to use the microphone and I want to use the auto duck, where if I speak, the music will duck, it'll duck the music that's being played from here as well.
Yeah, of course.
That's cool, I like it. Right, my next thing, so I'm happy I've got somewhere playing some backup, I can plug any line, source in, any music in. I've got a microphone that sounds really good. I know it'll all work if the computer crashes and dies, someone comes and spills a pint of lager over it, or whatever they do. Right. The other thing, I've noticed you can place the laptop under here, and I think this has been a big design thing with Pioneer, that you can put the laptop underneath.
Yeah, space saving design.
And I like that, but searching. So say someone comes up to me and says, I want to listen to, have you got any Calvin Harris? I can't get to the keyboard, but you're going to tell me that this can be got round.
Yes, of course. I mentioned the shift feature earlier. So pressing the shift button accesses a whole second bank of controls on the unit. If you use the needle search with holding the shift, you're displayed with alphabetical search option. So you can search by track names on there. So scroll over to T, all your tracks named under T will display straight away, and then you're free to scroll through them.
Free to scroll through them. Right, so I really don't need to take that the mark underneath there.
No.
Right, I think it's a cracking unit. I think it's got so many different options. I think it's got the fact that it's got all the whistles and bells and effects, and we can loop, and we can change them grids as well to make it all, you know, absolutely spot on. And I think it's also got that it could be used by a mobile DJ, beginner DJ. It sort of ticks a lot of boxes, doesn't it, really?
There's a lot of features on there accessible that really can be made use by someone who's starting to DJ as well, like the sync feature and all the traditional Pioneer feel.
Really like the slip mode. Let me get this right about slip mode, because I often try to explain slip mode in the shop, and it took me a while to get my head around it on a CDJ 900.
Yeah.
Slip mode. When I touch the platter here, the track stops, but it's still playing what I say underneath. It's still going. So when I take that off, it's wherever it was at the track.
Yeah, it jumps to the point of where it would have been had you not
if I
touched the jog.
take the slip mode off and do that, the track just stops. Because if when I'm in non-slip mode, like a traditional, any other CDJ apart from the 900 and this, you can work with both. Because I really like the slip mode. I think the slip mode was an absolute fantastic feature of the 900, and it's brilliant to see it's been brought onto here. Right, I do believe we've just about got it wrapped up there. So that is the Pioneer DDJ S1. I always have to stutter it out, I don't know what it is. The DDJ S1. I believe that Rob is going to play some tunes, just as a little bit of a mix on the way out. He's going to play some tracks and show some tricks. Right, so that was Rob from Pioneer. It's Mike at Phase 1 DJ Store. Cheers.